looking at yesterday's price action, uh, fairly simple for most of the day if you understood that we were just within a range. Easy to spot once you understand the buyers were pushing up, failed, lacked continuation, and then the sellers here failed to push down, lacking continuation. Once this happened here, the buyers showing up within this area. Um, Ideally, at this point, you wait for a cup to close, and then after this cup closes, a break and retrace or a break and retrace, right? Simply, since we had the 200-day MA above, it would have been better just to wait for this, as that's where sellers would be, and where a breakout would occur. So that never happened, which means you should have just set your alerts and gone about your day, and wait for pockets of liquidity to build for nested structures, right? So you see, this is a pocket of liquidity. How do you identify that? Look for the inside candles within a range, candles that are ranging, not doing anything. This is the pockets of liquidity, okay? Um, that's how you spot that, and which is why in the analysis you saw, I wanted you to identify the head and shoulder possibility with yellow here. So that's what happens. And then again, you see we lack continuation. We fail to close any inverse cups here. Market buys back up, sells back down, still doesn't close any cups, right? Until the end of day, right? End of day, we had this nice squeeze, right? When you see this liquidity building, the best thing you can do is just come back near end of day. If they're gonna do anything big, it's always near the end of day. This came a little bit earlier than expected, given, right? But if you set your alerts at the blue algo, you would have been able to see this. You would have been able to see the buyers, been able to get involved once the magenta, precision, and blue all become support and head up to the 200-day and even more from there. Right, that was a huge play. Um, right, so and then the rest of the day we chopped around. Now pre-market, we've sold back down. So let's take a look at the daily real quickly. Daily still in a downtrend. Keep an eye on that bottom Bollinger Band. It will continue to expand further and further down, below the 200-day MA, right? That's important if this is going to continue further down. You need to see this continue to expand below the 200-day, which it will, right? So we'll keep an eye on that downtrend. Longer term, right? That's my guess is we're going to see much more selling coming within the next few weeks. Looking at the 30-minute, right? We have broken away from this range, right? We are breaking and retracing, right? This is a break and retrace to the downside. So simply follow the continuation algos within the precision, right? So the orange is the continuation. So look for continuation on the 1 minute, right? Until this breaks, we're continuing to sell, right? What will likely happen later on, maybe not today, but in the following few weeks or few days here, sorry, we could continue to retest down like this, right? We may even break all the way up to here and sell down too. So keep an eye on the magenta as well. It's a continuation, but it's more of a hybrid, right? This will continue to head down much slower, and on the 1 minute there will be a lot more. Um, there could be definitely be some larger moves to the upside. So more so identifying continuation with the orange than with the magenta. If there is an end of day play, watch this pocket of liquidity, right? That's what you're going to want to watch. See if the magenta holds and contains price, and there's a pop up end of day, right? This is where it will happen, right? This is what you'd see. So that's really all you have to do today. Follow the continuation, end of day or midday if we lack continuation, and you see it'll appear on the 1 minute as a buyer precision, probably in the blue or green. We want to be watching for that, right? It'll happen within this area most likely. So reclaiming this, and maybe they push back up to the 5-day MA with the 200-day MA becoming support. That is very possible. Okay, simple as that for today. Continuation structure, and maybe an end of day squeeze. Yes, it's that chart link is the new one in the chart link tab as well. It's actually supposed to be moved up here. There we go. The chart should be better today. So when I draw like a line or something, you guys should see it. I tested it yesterday and it seemed to be working pretty well. So that line probably popped up way faster. I'm hoping. Um, Let me know if it is still laggy or not, right? So hopefully it's quicker though. So you'll be able to see things like precision coming. I'll still stream it. Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Reckless. Yeah, so I'll keep the stream going still. So if you guys want to follow along, see me get the algos and how I do it. The hopes is that we get a structure to form up here to get us down to this low, right? That's the first thing we're watching for. Oh, thank you, Reckless. It's very kind of you to say, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so first thing first here, there is a precision appearing. This isn't blue, this is, or green. This is probably going to be blue. Okay, so we do want to see structure firstly here. We have precision selling, which is ideal to see, right? But looking for structure before we get involved. If you can't even see any structure, then there's no trade, even though we knew that there was likely to be some selling off the open. The hopes is it would be with structure. If it just does the selling right off the rip, you just got to be more patient. So this support point flipped resistance, right? You see the breakdown retraced as resistance. So that's how we get the first sign of an algo like this without seeing the selling taper. You look for those breakout points of support. Keep an eye on the daily. That'll be very important. Look at where we're at. Oops. Oops, posted that one in the wrong channel. Okay, so far, not much is happening, right? If you ever want to read structure, you have a low here, you have a high here, but it's too tight to do anything with, right? Little under 2 points for the range. Ideally, we get a stronger structure to appear. Okay, so first things first, I'd like to see this head and shoulder appear. Make sure you guys have set your EMA cloud alert. It's currently bearish. This will likely be the blue precision here. So what you'd want to see, sellers were selling at this high, and now the buyers are attempting to break and retrace it as support. So this is how a head forms, right? They need to break out of this and continue to grind out of this, either with the orange or with the blue. For well, what we really want to see is this high be tested, right? So when this high here gets tested, that's when you have confirmation, right? So when you look to scalp, you take it from this liquidity level to the next liquidity level, right? And this would be how you take starter position, right? So we identified the blue precision. We knew there was a buyer here. Doesn't mean it's still a trade you should take, right? That's up to you if you can assess the risk reward. But if we're looking if for newer traders, what you want to see is this high get retested, right? And this high getting retested and breaking out of is the trade you want to take. You can take it there or take it here, right? That's what you're watching for. So now, observe the low. Any head and shoulder you take, you need to be spotting the imbalance of price to get to here, right? Unless another low forms. Technically, the liquidity level is here, but you're targeting anywhere from above to get to here. That's the target, right? This low. At the bodies. The bodies is better. But you target this area because it's technically a zone, right? So you're targeting between these two areas, right? So now if you're in a trade, you'd be protected. EMA cloud flipped. See how that's done? And now you're looking long, right? It's better to wait for a structure to appear off of this, but any scalp you take, so you take the scalp here, you have to protect by here. Otherwise, if it's too close to the resistance, you wait for the next structure. But you see blue precision appearing, very important, right? So if you took any position, I didn't take position here, but you could have, right? And I hope you can understand that, right? Once the buyers show up here, breaking and retracing, right? So they form this high as a support. after making a higher high, and then they formed a higher low, forming another higher high, retracing this one as support. See, that's how you watch it. So now we've structurally balanced the top. Now we've technically closed this cup. Okay, so now you're watching for what? Continuation until what? This liquidity level is taken out. That's how Zomies work. You need a confirmation that the sellers are going to get involved to take this down, right? When they start lacking continuation. And how do you spot that? With magenta, with orange, right? Use the algos to spot that. The algos will also guide you with these liquidity levels when it's the right time to take the trade. So if we were to break right here, what is this? This is magenta at the support. You don't take that, right? You wait for a retracement after the structure has balanced, right? So no matter what, you can wait for this point down below to be tested, and it'll either form a nested right shoulder, aka how an inverse cup and handle also forms, or it'll break through, retrace it as resistance. That's all you're doing. Here, I'll draw a white line like this on both ends so that you can see it a little bit more simpler. So this is the range you're currently in then, right? Liquidity built down below. So if there's an attempt, how is this liquidity going to get grabbed? In a few ways, but it will be done with magenta in some sorts. Before it gets grabbed, you want to spot another liquidity level above, right? So liquidity builds here. Let's just say we get a pocket here and a head to form here. This breakout of liquidity would be the one you'd want to take, right? This is how magenta retraces as resistance. So there was talks before about how magenta breaks. Typically, it needs to be on the third retest. Why? Because on the second retest, it's rebalancing, right? To form an imbalance on the third attempt. That's why that works. So if you want a simple rule, excuse me, wait for the third attempt on the magenta. Wait for the third retest for a structural balance to occur. The third retempt, which it would be a imbalance to break that, right? That's how you get a breakdown, right? It's just a simple rule, and it's still technically missing a lot of factors. But if you want a simple rule, wait for the third attempt every single time. Some people were asking me how to make it simpler. That's what you do, right? So what needs to happen down here? Magenta needs to get retested then, right? And if it goes, then all you need to wait for is the retrace. Simple as that. Oh. Yeah, no, you're good, man. I do appreciate you though. I really do. Reckless. Okay, so precision would be the first thing you're watching for. If you take anything early, right? Because teal becoming resistance, right? There's an attempt of this low being broken out of, and you see precision coming in, you can take a trade. So you take the imbalance off the break to get to here. Do you see how to do that? You don't have to take that trade if it's not up to your standard. If it's in a range still, you don't have to take anything. Now you have confirmation though, right? So we've tested this. We are attempting to break down from it. That's fine if it goes further, right? You wait for the retracement. That's all you got to do. You don't take it here. The only time you take it here is when it goes into a more volatile state. Doing what? Breaking out of other containments. It's the only time. I'm actually going to retrace this even further down. So I know it's white, but this is the green precision. That's all you do. That's all you're ever doing. So if it's too fast, right? If you're taking starter scalps, you can do it here. Why? Because orange break, teal resistance, magenta resistance. But it's a starter position to get to here, right? Which means you need to be protected by here, before here. You take this position, you protect ASAP, and hope it breaks down. Now you could be fully protected, and that's a good enough move for you to take. Okay? So now this liquidity has been grabbed, right? Effectively, it's been grabbed. All you're waiting for now is a retracement, right, of some sorts. The only other way is when, right? You need to be able to see that being broken down within what? The strongest precision is the best, right? This is the strongest precision. Green is the strongest precision you will see today. If it holds support, it's not ideal. And that's fine. I prefer it doesn't go down that way. I don't, those are trades I would size down for and scale down for. I'd wanted to see if this would break down. It doesn't, that's fine. It's better now. We want to see the retrace. So now on Zomies, how does Zomies work? Well, technically you shouldn't go against it whenever it's in a precision. So currently it's still in what? Blue, right? Blue is still an active selling precision, which means you shouldn't go long until that breaks, right? But any Zombie you would take, for example, if this were to grind down and then break, you have to protect by when, right? By there. So that's how you recognize an imbalance on the chart as well. A support holding, not breaking, will want to retest the next balance point. So it's an imbalance to get to here. That's what you're watching for. It'll be an inverted head and shoulder. That's how that forms, right? Or you can just wait for this liquidity above. Gonna redraw the blue precision to be a bit tighter here. This support point to this support point. So it's still technically within a selling continuation of the blue, right? So this won't effectively retrace until it breaks out of that. Again, you shouldn't go long until that's breached. So I wouldn't do anything here, right? You see that the sellers are lacking continuation. But it's not ideal to take any trade here quite yet. Once the buyers show up, reclaiming ranges, right? Now I want you to see we had an easy down, but it'll be better if liquidity builds first, right? It's the same way as it goes up before, like how I've explained it before, right? Okay, well, it's in the blue precision, so effectively it's just still better to have held runners with it rather than taking it. So do keep that in mind. If you're watching structure, right, you're watching to see if this low is going to hold. What happens if this low holds, right? Blue will break and teal will hold support. The low did not hold, so as long as the sellers retrace it as resistance, it's selling out of teal now with blue as the precision. Okay, not too hard to understand, right? Once I saw that happened, where do I take my puts? Right there. Protected and just letting a runner go. Simple as that. And what was your confirmation? Teal break, blue precision. This low not holding support. It retraced off the blue precision for tight risk. That's all I did. Literally just take it as soon as I know this low's not holding still in precision in a continuation. Teal resistance, blue precision. That's what this trade's going to be. Remember where it's at as well. It's what we were watching for. So you have to be protecting. So there's been probably two solid trades you could have taken so far. Actually, three, technically. You could have gone long off of the magenta support, and you could have taken puts off of the um, orange break in precision. Right? There's two trades you could have taken. I do worry that after this selling continuation, we're going to endure a chop. Keep an eye on the daily. That is why I'm thinking this. Look at where the bottom Bollinger Band is, right? Sure, we're expanding down, but price is going to the bottom Bollinger Band is going to need to catch up with price, and the bottom Bollinger Band will continue to head further down. But you need to keep that in mind. So, do you see why I'm alert on the fact that buyers may show up, and this may revert back to the 200 AMA? Not saying that's going to happen now. That's an end of day squeeze possibility that I'm hoping for. right? So let's spot out the structure. Seller or buyers come in protecting this low here, right? So first attempt, the buyers come in, protect this low, okay? So now you have a low because buyers protect it and hold, and now you have a liquidity level that's built within. Buyers come out, push out of this, forming a higher low and a higher high. You can go long because it's in precision magenta flipping support. So you have a long opportunity right here. But we don't forget about this left shoulder. Buyers close the cup. We're watching to see if buyers will push out with continuation structure and watching the orange precision. What happens? Precision comes in, teal becoming or magenta becoming resistance on orange break. You see this breakdown occurring off of the precision. They are lacking continuation. You have a possibility now to enter with the blue precision on this break to protect by when this area. Now that may have been too difficult. So if you miss that, that's fine. You don't need to take that. That's still a starter position, right? You're taking starter position. It's a scalp in hopes to catch the move down, right? That's what you do, right? You don't know if it's going to continue. You just protect and follow and guide with precision. Now you missed that. That's fine. We wait for a retracement. I've always said this. After this structural balance point is retested, you watch for some sort of retracement, right? We retrace at the bottom of this teal, breakdown in the blue precision, turning teal as resistance. This low didn't hold, right? It did not hold. You had that confirmation as soon as the 956 candle closed and the precision up carrying us all the way down at uh, with 957 with the blue precision retracing, right? So it's as simple as that. You take the trade as soon as you know that's what's happening. I exited my trade already, so I'm not in this anymore. I exited around this level here, and then held one, but I sold it around this area. So I'm not in this, and that's because I don't expect much more downside. Um, for now, I want to see if we're going to start to consolidate in this area. I don't expect that much more downside. But again, it could continue. We're going to watch for that. It's so weird that it's like that, Raja and Swaz. I have no idea why it does that. Oh, wait, that left shoulder's actually still there. Yeah, let me delete that. Let's clear it up a little bit. But yeah, so hopefully you can understand a few of those trades that were possible. This trade is in continuation, right? It's fairly straightforward. Maybe not the greatest, but again, when it's not up to par of what you want, you don't have to take full size, right? If it's not a great enough structure for entry, don't full size it. You don't have to. It's a momentum trade, right? But it's technically a retracement. So now, again, watch this low, okay? Are buyers, when some selling occur, going to protect it? Right? And it doesn't have to happen right at the low, okay? The buyers can come in and protect it up here and push it out, right? But you still spot this low because the buyers came in and protected it, right? This is where the buyers were buying. Just like this, right? When the sellers came in, they technically didn't retrace that all the way up there as resistance, right? But they came in and sold through this low in precision, pushing through a bullish containment, okay? I'm going to re-angle this slightly here. I will expand the line above on what you need to watch for this. Right, so again, you're watching to see if the buyers are going to show up here. We have a low with some buyers appearing, but we want to see if the buyers will protect it with a higher low or what some call a double bottom, right? What matters is the reaction off of it. That's all that matters. You don't have to take it, but that's also how Zomies work as well. When it's in a stronger precision, that's what you're watching for. Just like how it happened here, okay? So end of day, yesterday, this is yesterday. This low wasn't retested. Instead, this buyers show up here protecting this low, and that sellers didn't have enough continuation to even retest this low. That's just more confirmation that it's forming this higher low, that this was going to head up. So there's more to it than just looking at the algos. You got to understand structure too. Okay, so now you're watching this, right? If you're taking starter position, be a bit more careful until liquidity builds. How does liquidity build, right? When this holds. That's how liquidity builds. So you kind of want to see this hold to build a larger structure. Would be best. And when structure isn't clear, what needs to happen? A break and retrace. Just rinse and repeat that every single trade. You can't go wrong. You see what I'm telling you is how to wait for confirmation, right? That's all I'm teaching you to do. Wait for confirmation. Any scalp you take beforehand, an imbalance to get to here, right? So you need to protect as soon as you possibly can before it gets to here. Why? Because the buyers can show up, but as long as it's in a selling precision, which it's technically in this, right? Yeah. You need to protect before then. So now it's at it, you'd protect. Didn't break through it, it's right at it, right at magenta support. So if you take the orange break, right, you're hoping that this continues down. That's how you catch starter position. But since it didn't build that much liquidity, I'd be a lot more careful. Though it's in a continuation, so it's still it's not a bad trade because we're already in a selling continuation. The better ones are when it builds more liquidity, right? So taking a starter position here is better because we already had liquidity built, right, at the 950 and 949 candle. Okay. So do you see then how this could potentially form a left shoulder? Not saying it's going to, but that's what you're watching for. I'd prefer this to happen. Okay, it follows precision all the way down. If you took starter position, right, that's completely fine. You had the retest, you had the precision selling through. So taking magenta break now, better, right? 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's all you had to do. But again, better to wait for a larger structure. Technically, this is a nested right shoulder. It's small, it's a microstructure, but that's how that functions. I was typing in the analysis, so I didn't analyze it too much, but that's what that is. And it's okay if you didn't take it. You don't need to take smaller structures, but it's in a continuation, seeing the structural rebalance and then the magenta breaking through it. You can take this trade. That's fine. That's completely okay to do. Right? Not every structure is created equal. That is something you also need to understand. But structurally balanced, sellers come in. If you're taking puts at the blue precision because you see the resistant wick, that's also fine. That's getting involved with continuation off of the precision after a structural balance to see if that's enough imbalance to break through. That's something you can do. So if you took position at 1010, or sorry, at 1010 or 1011 on the magenta break, good job. It's better to take it there because why? You already balanced the structure and they're forming an imbalance to break through it. And it's also what? A lower high. Right? So within the technical left shoulder liquidity. Again, it's not the greatest of structure, but it's in continuation, right? So if you're following structure or following continuation, if you enter late, just try to enter as close as you can to the precision. I would not want you to take it late. I'd prefer you get involved up here. That's much better. I didn't take this trade, but you definitely could have. If you did, well done. Make sure you protect. I'm worried about the daily chart being much below the MA, or sorry, the bottom Bollinger Band. So I'm watching to see if there will be a chop to occur soon. Currently, it's in continuation, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about that until it happens, right? You can continue to trade as structure demands, right? That's completely fine. Right, currently it's very easy. It's just selling. So just wait for selling continuation structure. That's all you got to do. It's different from trading a range, right? So you have to change your perspective in how you trade this. You can take a more aggressive position, right? You can take these more aggressive positions because you know it's already in a selling continuation. When it's not and it's in a range, it's better to allow more liquidity to build and more confirmation before taking a trade. That's how you change your gears, right? You have to adapt to what the market gives you. So effectively, so far, I'm going to mark these ones out because you could have taken puts within the resistant wick. That's completely fine. And this entry up here. These are the 3 entries so far that I would have preferred you have taken. Right, starter position, in continuation, in continuation. Okay? Okay, so for a lot of you, what you should do now, if you haven't done this, set alerts at the EMA cloud on the EMA flip When it goes green, that's when it goes green, bullish, right? That's the only time you should look long. For some reason, mine won't turn back on, which is a little weird, but that's okay. Oh, there we go. It worked. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Don't even look long until that turns green. For the most of you, that's what you should do, right? The only time I'm gonna look long is if the green or blue buying precision appear for an inverted head and shoulder, right? Do you see what I also marked out there? Right, the magenta and teal becoming support. And how did it move up? Very rapidly within precision. Only way I'm gonna go long. Early, right, is when precision appears like that. That's the only time. Okay? For now, we are trending down. So no reason to go long. I'm gonna map this out and I'm gonna map it as purple. Okay? I'll do a light purple. This is going to be a weaker precision, but it's a continuation, okay? So it's better not to trade off of it. It's better to allow your runners to stay within this. Um, Typically, this one only appears on Fridays and trend days, right? So that's why I'm marking it out so you can see the current trend. So far, so good. Very simple day, very easy day to trade if you're trading with trend and not going against it. Oh yeah, Darso. All you gotta do is for the EMA cloud, condition MA1 crossing MA3. That's it. And then save and you're good to go. So MA1 crossing MA3. Yeah, no problem, Darso. If you want, you can send a screenshot. I'll tell you if you got it right. Again, let's watch this low. Okay, so it's better not to take anything here. It's better to watch to see if this low will hold or break. But they did retest it, okay? So that's important. That's important to recognize. This would be better as liquidity if buyers show up off of it, or you wait for what? A break and retrace. I'll map out the blue here. If it doesn't follow in a strong enough precision, so we'd like to see it within blue, it and still holds under, you have to still be very wary of that, right? If it's lacking precision, the buyers can rally then, right? And that's how you'd find a new low that holds. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just watching to see if precision will break through it and retrace it as resistance. If it's not clear, you don't take puts, right? Instead, wait for a clearer structure, right? Because technically, a lower high can form off of this before it breaks through this, right? And that's what we had here. So if it wants to appear like that, watch for that. Actually, I'll extend it like this so you can see. What's happened? Purple's broken. Blue did not activate. So you need more confirmation before entering. Which is why you see the magenta I drew will be used to see if this will push out and retrace as support, right? What does this form? That's all you're doing. Just continue to read the structure. You'll be good to go. If this is where it starts to chop, set your alerts. I promise you, you're not going to miss anything today. Let's observe the volume already, right? It's dwindling down fast. That's okay, right? If you want this is a volume average, right? This white line. So you see it's trending down. That's typical from the morning. But watch as it starts to stagnate, right? It'll start to stay within the same area or continue to be lower, right? So it'll continue down or stay within the same area. That just means don't trade. Be careful if it's not in precision. Precision matters a lot, right? If this is just too weak of a structure, you don't take it. Instead, you can observe a few ways to enter an earlier structure if there isn't precision. Now, I would prefer it be in teal, so technically there is a teal here, but I don't want you to take this quite yet. Instead, watch, right? Because you want to make sure that magenta containment above becomes support. But this is how you technically take a starter position long before it would break out. That's aggressive entry. And I would prefer you wait. It's better to see it confirmed anyways, especially with options, right? When you're option trading, you want the volatility. So this magenta here, right, needs to become support. Unless we break through here, right? Great liquidity, right? Okay, if you're taking anything, guide with precision, right? That's what you're doing. I'll map it out for you. If it's not clear, break and retrace. Simple as that. Let it break away from it and retrace it as resistance. Technically, I have to map out this, right? But they are attempting it. They've rebalanced it. So you have to see if precision appears and guides the way down. If it doesn't, it's still at the support. I'm going to map out this teal down here as well, so you know where this could target. If you're reading structure within this, is the selling in teal currently, right? Not much is going on. You have to be very careful of taking anything here until it what? A larger structure appears, break and retrace, or cups close, right? So you can wait for this pink that I've placed down now. And what we'd like to see is a breakout like this. Let me draw it a little bit better. Right, something like this would be ideal. Okay, so buyers may be showing up here, breaking out a teal and forming a head above, right? That'd be ideal. A head above is much better now. That's what we'd like to see. And so pay attention to the magenta. If you're going long here, you need to be very wary of that. So if you took starter position on the break of teal, keep that in mind. It's Zomi, or if you technically could take starter position down here. That's what I was talking about. When it's not in precision, that's more viable. But again, what you want to do if you're trading options is watch to see if the volatility comes in after magenta containment becomes support within a stronger precision. So you see I mapped this out to see if this would push out. It's not pushing out. Not yet, at least. We've got liquidity below and this low held prior, right? But now they've pushed out of this high, flipping it as support. So now you're going to see if this lacks continuation with magenta tapering price, or if the blue precision can break out and flip this as support. Look for where your next target would be. It's 653.51 to the penny. Okay, not to the penny, 2 pennies off, 49. But this area above where the pink is. I'm not going to draw out a line there because yellow's already there. But it's this high here is what you're looking at. Calculate the imbalance of what you're taking, right? How much is it to this area? If it's not enough, you don't need to take it. Just guide with blue if you're in this. You don't need to take this trade if you're not up for it, right? It's not the most reward possible, but obviously it's a starter position, right? So hopefully you see that and understand that. And now what do you wait for downside, right? Magenta. Magenta is the one you're watching for. So you're watching to see if the buyers are going to come up and retest this area. If it doesn't stay in the blue, you don't have to hold the long either, right? Ideally, you're getting involved, you're protecting before it gets there, and seeing if there's a continuation out. Keep in mind the EMA cloud here, still red, right? So 100% you could be watching to see if there's a Zomi for downside. Don't get caught off guard, right? Know what can sack you, right? This is liquidity here. This could be ahead, right? You just need confirmation that the buyers are not going to push this up in precision and magenta's containing price, right? Because technically, on a macro, this is still a lower high. Okay? That's all you're ever doing. In any trade you take, like let's just say the one here, just get protected as soon as you can. Allow your runners to do the work. Okay, fairly simple. Just protect, right? I know most of you see this, and hopefully you understood by what I was saying what to have watched for. Right there, right? Just protect as soon as you can, and then hope that the precision continues this further down. Easy peasy. This will be my last trade for today. Okay. Let's hope we get more and can close to the structural balance here. Otherwise, right, we're going to start lacking continuation. You don't want to stay in the trade. As long as it's in this precision blue, we're good to go. Remember what I talked about? I'm worried of a lack of continuation today. So if that happens, that's why I'll be done. And on top of it too, this would be a really nice trade if it does break down. Otherwise, if this blue's done here, I'm done. How do you guys like the white lines, by the way? Do you guys prefer them like this? I'll do them while I'm here. Um, when I'm away from the computer, it'll be a little bit harder for me to do that. So do chart them out on your own. It's very simple, right? You see, I get the high and the low of the liquidity levels. That's literally all I'm doing. It's not rocket science. Okay, this well, technically it's right here is where my stop is. It's like almost at it. So if that takes me out, I'm done. Yep. Okay. So that's the closeout for me. Right. So very simply, got in position, protected by when? By magenta, was able to hold a runner, was hoping we'd be able to continue it down from here. In the blue, that didn't happen. We're lacking continuation, right? I cut. So I take really small size today on Fridays. I don't typically go over 5 contracts, right? So get in position here, protected 2 here, cut 1 here as soon as it pushed back up, and left 2 to run to see, and I exit here completely. Simple as that. That's all I'm doing. Now I'm done. Closing down the brokerage and gonna call it until the after or the power hour. Why? Because we have triple witching, right? So there's going to be a lot of closing out of position and a lot of opening of new position today. So that's you'll see increased volume, probably like we have in the morning volume near 1500. Okay, so segment your days. Very simply, I'm going to go over this as well because this video will be published publicly. So I want to announce some things so that people can understand. Um, you really should only be taking a newer trader should only be taking 1, maybe 2 trades within this 9:30 to 11:30, right? And I posted this. You should be looking for the first opening breakout, right? So the starter position and continuation, and then maybe a Zomi back to the middle of the range or for a possible breakout of the other side. So currently we're selling, but we're starting to lack selling continuation. So the first target will be at this area, right? Where the cup closure and VWAP and teal are. right? So any long, you're looking to get in and protect or be protected by here, but you're looking for a potential move all the way up to here. And as long as it's in precision, it could technically break out. We're lacking continuation. That's currently happening. If it sells now, it's not worth it until the structural balance occurs and a break and retrace, right? That's what you'd wait for. You do not hold position anymore. Um, so maybe 1 to 2 trades, right? Starter position to catch the move, continuation, and then maybe a Zomi. So 1 to 2 trades. 3 is possible, but you shouldn't as a starter, right? You should focus on the higher quality ones, which are typically continuation or the Zomi possibility. And then you're not trading. There's one more session between the midday, and this is where you should be very careful of over trading. And it's about 11:30 to about 1400. Typically, this is the time you do nothing, right? There's maybe if there's continuation, there could be trades, right? If let's say we continue to sell down, right? Obviously, there'd be trades within here. But typically, another 1, maybe 2 trades in here. They have to be continuation or well-built nested structures. So you should have good pockets of liquidity like we have here, right? So you'd like to see a lot of liquidity built, a head form, and then a nested structure. This would or a head form and then a right shoulder to grab this nested structure. So maybe 1 trade, maybe 2 trades here, probably only 1. And then the last session from 1400 to 1600 follows a lot like this. If it's in continuation, there will be trades. But if there's not, you wait for the final 30 to 10 minutes to see if there will be a move, if it's not in continuation, back to safety, right? And with today being witching, the triple witching, you're going to watch to see if there's a full move, a full potential move all the way back up to the 200-day and maybe even the 5-day MA. That is possible today, right? So what's going to likely happen here is we're going to range, right? Most likely. Maybe there's some selling, who knows? Probably not much. Most likely it will be within a range, okay? That's what's likely to happen here. And then here, if it's an accumulation, we're going to want to see if the buyer starts showing up, and by this end of day, bring it back up. This is a possible move end of day, right? So be patient. Wait for it. Remember, 1 to 2 trades, 1 to 2 trades if there's continuation or a nested structure. And again, maybe 1 to 2 trades if there's continuation or an end of day safety play. Segment your days, you'll be good to go. I promise you. Okay? With that being said, it's time to take a break. Everybody here, wait for triple witching. I promise you, you're not going to miss it. Come back power hour. If you took some good trades this morning, right, not too bad, well done. But now is a great time to go enjoy your weekend. Come back for power hour, see if there's something, right? Okay? All right, everybody. I will see you guys next week.